I'd start this quick little engine slap together video series off with just kind of where the motor is. You know, I don't have the heads or anything on it, and I got to pull this camshaft out. I got a new timing chain, new oil pump, and then I did repair that oil pan, which apologize for not making any videos the last few weeks, but just been really super busy with some other projects. But we'll get going back on this engine here and kind of go through some of the do's and don'ts on rebuilding some of the stuff or replacing it. So anyways, kind of the first thing we're going to end up doing is we're going to pull off these 13mm nuts off the windage tray here that hold on the oil pickup, because we got to put in the shorter one for the shorter pan. So there's two of them there, right there. And then we'll take this 10mm bolt out of the pickup tube, remove that off this oil pump. The oil pump is super easy, just these 4 10mm bolts. Pull the oil pump off, and then we'll pop off these 10mm bolts here out of the cam, get the top timing gear off, and then we'll have to pull the bottom gear off with a puller, I think. So we'll get some of this stuff off and we'll bring you back. Unfortunately, I don't have my adjustable camera tripod right now, but we'll make this do with what we can. So just pulled that bolt out, and there we got the 2 nuts off up here. And this guy should just wiggle out of there. Now there's going to be a difference in the O-rings and stuff on these motors and oil pumps, and the new oil pumps comes with different O-rings. They'll kind of explain it on the paperwork which one you need, and etc. Now I don't know if this oil pump is bad or not, but maybe we'll put it right here. We'll just take a quick peek inside. I have reused old oil pumps before, but ultimately paid the price. Well, it doesn't look too terrible. Face has got a little bit of wear on it, but you know, it's got some deep gouging there, so probably would be just better off not using this oil pump for anything. You know, I mean, they're not super expensive, but they're not super cheap either. But if you've watched my previous videos on oil pumps and stuff, you can easily have some problems with oil pumps that'll really cause you a headache. So let's see here. Let's try to get you guys where you can see a little better. Oh yeah, that chain's pretty loose on that too. And then these old these cam bolts, they're kind of they're not like a totally different style of bolt, but they are different in length, and so you try to keep up with those. Pop him off. And I'll have to get a puller and pull this one off. And then I do have a new thrust plate. They're pretty inexpensive. Kind of something I do recommend replacing, just because they've got kind of like a weird little gasket type of thing in there. But when I pull this off, we'll kind of look at them. So let me get a puller and get the oil pump drive and the timing gear off, and we'll take a look at the new setup. So I just used a basic little puller here, just the 2-prong style instead of the 3. It's pretty simple. So pressed him off. I guess we can pull off this cam part real quick. Just yeah. So some of these have really annoying torques, type kind of like countersunk bolts in it, and some of them have just 10 millimeters. Same thing, these are kind of an odd short bolt, so you might want to keep up with them. So here's the little kind of like little seal thing there, and that's just for the channels to the lifters. You've probably seen people change their cam out by just knocking some wooden skews or whatever into these, but I mean, you could do it, I guess, but I wouldn't recommend it. Just pull the head off and pull the lifters out and just do it the common way, I guess. So here's the Summit Racing one I got, and it's a double roller timing chain, and it comes with these little plates here. And that's actually to bring the oil pump out a little bit to clear this. So these little chunks here, and they just shim out the oil pump and out of the bag. So it looks like this one here, you can do some degreeing and stuff with it if you want. Of course, we're just poor and pathetic here, so we're just going to put it on regular good old top dead center type of timing, just 0. So looking at the old one here, the keyway's here and the mark is there. So we would want to put our new one on here, so that when we rotate the I'm guessing this would be our top dead center right here, this little circle. So when we rotate that, everything lines up the right way. So let me fiddle with that for a minute, and I'll bring you back when I think I've got it figured out. Okay, well, I got it figured out really quickly. So this little 0 right there, if you're just doing it normal timing, that's going to go in your keyway, and then this little circle is going to be your new timing mark. So go on like so, and this would go on like that. So basically, I'll just have to get something to go over this crankshaft here and just kind of easily tap it on. I mean, you should press it on probably. I guess I could see if I've got a sleeve or something, and I could use the old crank bolt, kind of press it on, because you don't want to really hit on your into your crankshaft and kind of knocking everything loose and everything. So get that put on real quick, and then we'll get that camshaft pulled out and we'll have a look. So you gotta be really super careful pulling your cam out. You don't want to start nicking up and hurting your cam bearings and whatnot. But anyways, this cam doesn't look horrible. I don't see any pitting or anything on it, or any real deep scratches. But I just used the water pump bolts. There's 6 of them, and these are pretty long, and they'll screw into the end of the cam. Just kind of use those as my first leverage to get it out. Now I did order a cam, a different type of cam for the supercharger. However, they're out of stock, and they have been for a while, and I don't really know why. Just to kind of get everything up and running, I'm going to put the CCP jam cam back in it. I did call Motion Cams and Brian Tooley, and I mean, it's not too much difference on the camshaft that I want to get. The only difference is the intake is open a little bit longer on the cam for the, you know, really the correct cam for that supercharger. The intake's open just a little bit longer than this actual camshaft. But in the meantime, we're just going to run with what we got, and I just kind of want to get this motor put back in here and get it bolted back in the car, because, you know, we got, hopefully if everything goes good, we got a pretty good future place to start working on these cars here. And if that's the case, I got to kind of get everything buttoned up and at least try to get the car to get itself over there, and then you know, we'll go from there. But that's a different story and a different project. So anyways, as far as this went, it actually literally, I just took this thing right here and that thing tapped right on there. So perfect. Alright, well, I'm going to just wipe out the cam bearing real quick just to eyeball it, and they look like they're actually fine. And just take a quick shine down the rest of them, and then I'm going to slap the new cam in real fast. So this isn't like an old flat tappet cam. I mean, there's not really a break-in procedure for it, but I do like to just put a little bit of moly coat, or whatever this stuff is. I think it's moly graphite. I do like to put just a skim coat on all of the lifters. You know, just good cause, just a good measure, safety measure here. Anyways, this is the old CCP jam cam that I've been running for a couple of years now. And like I said, we make okay horsepower and stuff on it. The only problem we have is, you know, you get about 6,000 RPM, it kind of starts falling off the face of the earth, which the other cam is supposed to keep on going. So, I mean, that's probably the worst thing about this cam, but, you know, we're not like racing for money or anything, and mostly this is all just fun, and, you know, just having as much fun as we can with it. So I'm not gonna cry too much about it right now. I'm not having the camshaft that I really want, but I can't make them have the camshafts any quicker. So, and I could get a camshaft from Cam Motion, but, you know, everybody has their own favorite brands and stuff, and I just really like Brian Tooley. You know, every time I call over there and talk to those guys, they're really nice, and, you know, they get the point of budget building and all that. So There we go. Wasn't too bad, I don't think. Put the cam in there. And the next thing I got to do is turn the crankshaft and get our zero kind of lined up in the center. And I'll grab a thrust plate and slap that on there real quick. And we'll get our new timing chain on. Alright, the new thrust plate I had uses those Allen bolts. And I just can't stand those because even though the torque on these is like 22 inch-pounds or something, it's not very much. They just always seem to strip and break, and it doesn't matter if I go buy a new Torx bit or anything, I just have problems with them. So I looked at this plate, it looks fine. There was actually no wear on the cam side, so we're just going to run with this plate. Like I said, I torqued these down to 22 inch-pounds, I believe. Let's see here. Oh, sorry, 22 foot-pounds. 22 foot-pounds is what I torqued them down to, and rotated the engine to where that O is pointing up. So the next part is going to be sticking this on here. So this timing chain set has this probably needle bearing, little thrust plate bearing on here, so that's fine. Probably just throw a little bit of moly, just a real skim coat on the back side, and just a little bit on this side here to run onto the thrust plate, and then we'll stick them on there. Alright, so on this guy, where's he at? There he is right there. You got a little machine dimple. Oops. We're gonna turn our cam. So, as you can see, I don't have them lined up. They're off a tooth or so. There we go. So, there's that. Our cam bolts we were talking about. Some people put Loctite on them, which really probably isn't a bad idea. I have in the past, but I've also just ran them without Loctite and I've never had any issues. So we're just gonna snug these up. And I'm sure that this is, you know, probably far from what the book actually tells you. But this is just how I've been doing them, and I've had, as far as I'm concerned, I haven't had any issues doing them this way. So just gonna kind of snug these up. Pulling the cam into it. Now somebody would probably say maybe I should have put some oil inside that roller bearing, but I did kind of look at it and it's already got oil in it, so I'm not too worried about it. Yeah, so those are all kind of snugged. So they're kind of off a hair, but you'll get the idea once you turn the motor slightly. They'll line up pretty much in the center. So that's that. The next part of the fun is putting this in. So, you know, you can do this a whole bunch of ways. I'm not going to be able to fully put this on because I can't find my feeler gauges I actually specially made to do this. I don't know where I put them. And I don't know, some people don't recommend it, but you know, I put a little Vaseline or petroleum jelly or something inside the actual oil pump just so it has a good suction. And you know, it'll right away start sucking oil up. So like I said, some people will probably agree, some people will disagree, etc., etc. I gotta find my missing parts here. I dropped a minute ago. And I refused to get them off the floor. Okay. Oops. Those little shims they give us with the timing gear, they just go right behind the oil pump, and they shim the oil pump out, you know, an 1/8 inch or whatever for the double roller there. So I'm going to get the other little shim kind of put in. I'm not going to torque these because we'll have to do the feeler gauges on this oil pump. And then I got to torque the cam bolt still. So I'm going to just get a few little things buttoned up and we'll just kind of go over what I got. Tomorrow the head gaskets will be in. And then we can roll this motor over and get the heads put on. I know I've had a kind of a video about that too, but we'll make another one. I don't want to bore you guys to death with these videos, but that's unfortunately all I kind of got going on right now. Soon enough we'll stab them in the AMX. I think I mentioned also in the videos too, last few videos, that I was going to pull the transmission and take it to my buddy and have him kind of go through it, but like I said, things have drastically changed in the last couple of weeks, so we're just going to kind of get this thrown in the car, get it running, and if I have to, I'll pull the transmission at a later date and get it over to him so he can have a look at it. And believe it or not, pulling that 4L80 out of this car is really simple, and the motor can stay in the car, so it makes it nice. So I'm gonna get a few things buttoned up here, and then we'll have a look and see what we have left. All right, well, got the cam all torqued up. Like I said, this is kind of not tight and it's just on there, and we got our short pickup tube on there, which is quite a bit shorter than the factory one. But I have had issues with this pickup tube lining up with the oil pump right, so you know, my opinion is get your oil pump exactly where you want it, get it torqued down so it doesn't move. And I've actually got another a little adapter that kind of just U-shapes and locks this down and utilizes that oil pump hole too. Just because I've always been a little worried about oil problems right here, but I haven't had them, knock on wood. But just using this one here, it's not seated in there very good, and it never has. But when you use the other clamp, it kind of forces it to go in there. And in the past, I've had to grind this down. And that's what happens when you're being cheap like me. Sometimes you just have to buy the stuff you can afford, and you know, get what you pay for. So, well, that's going to wrap up this little quick episode here. So I do appreciate all the new subscribers. I know it's not much to brag about, but you know, 20 subscribers to me is like 1,000,000 subscribers. So we had quite the little influx of subscribers. I do appreciate everybody that watches these, and I'll try to be a little bit better at videotaping and, you know, being a little bit more in depth in what I'm doing. But like I said, hopefully here in the real close near future, things will be a lot better and have a lot more room to do stuff. So alright, well, until the next episode, which hopefully I'll upload in 24 hours from this video. We'll get the heads and everything put on and maybe try to get it stuffed in the car. So till then, thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one.